hopefully there's really no people and you can pull up to the beach on the Sea of Cortez and jump in the water. I mean, the two-sided island down there, I can't remember exactly where it is. I mean, that's all. There's some people there, but that spot is beautiful.
I think you're talking about Requesón, Playa Requesón.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, it's all those spots that maybe not everyone even knows what it's called, but it's south of Bay of LA or north of Loreto, like that. Those areas, those are my favorite. And I mean, the Pacific side has a lot of great spots. Obviously, Scorpion Bay. I have fun every time I go there. But a lot of people go there. There's places north of there and places south of there that are just as beautiful with not very many people around. And that's, we've hit the secret beach, they call it, which is great. And, I mean, anytime you're on the coast or the Sea of Cortez, you're going to find beautiful spots. But a lot of stuff in the middle of the peninsula is beautiful as well. Like, I mean, what we call the Baja Grand Canyon. You go through there and you're just like, oh my God, I can't even believe this exists here. It's like really, you see how big Baja is. You look on a map, it looks small, but when you're there and you see this big canyon in the middle of the peninsula, you're like, wow, this is insane. And then what they call that big plateau, the El Pelon, or I'm probably butchering the name, but El Pelon there. That thing just, you look at it, you're like, wow, look at this in the middle.
It's like a giant. It looks like a giant pyramid or a circular pyramid outside of La Purísima. Yeah,
or like that, from Close Encounters or something. That big, mountain in that movie. It looks something like that. So I mean, there's just so many cool things to see, and I can never remember exactly where I'm at, but yeah. I mean,
all right. Well, Neil,
Catavina for sure is one of my favorite places that's not near the coast or Sea of Cortez.
I'm going to come clean with you right now. Mm-hmm. So I used this the ploy of the podcast and talking to you about cinematography and so on to ultimately get to the topic of something I know you're very passionate about, and that is the search for the Chupacabra.
Yeah. It's real.
Tell me what you know about the Chupacabra.
I know I know that it's elusive. Most people don't believe it's real, but you and I have both heard stories and seen things down there, and I don't think I'll ever be able to prove that he's real, but I hope to just see it with my own eyes.
So those of you that are listening that don't know about the Chupacabra, it is some will call it a myth, some will call it an absolute truth. I think we can kind of categorize it along with the Loch Ness Monster.
Or Bigfoot.
Or Bigfoot, yep. And Neil's not going to come clean on this, but Neil searches for the Chupacabra every time he is in Baja. And he actually has an idea to create a lifestyle television show or a documentary around the search for the Chupacabra. He's serious about it. He's looking out over his shoulder and out of the corner of his eye all the time for the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is it's a mystic animal that supposedly, and there are documented scenarios of farmers and ranchers that go and find their goats that more or less have had all of the blood sucked out of them. Chupacabra is I think the Spanish the literal Spanish translation for that is goat sucker. Chupa is suck and cabra is goat.
You just gotta go. You have to Google it. Go Google it, and you'll see what we're talking about.
So I guess my real thought here, though, is that do you really believe that there is a Chupacabra, or are you just looking for excuses to go to Baja?
You know what? Like, I think the best way to prove it is just to keep going down there and looking for them. And if I got to ride dirt bikes a bunch, rip around in off-road trucks and surf while I'm looking for them, then, I'm willing to dedicate my whole life to that.
You've heard it here on the Baja Sessions. Neil Goss is willing to dedicate his entire life to search for the Chupacabra.
Yeah. And obviously we're gonna have to use dirt bikes to get around looking for them, off-road trucks, You might as well surf when the waves are good out there, and drink some tequila, and some cervezas. And you never know. You could be drinking a beer or a cerveza sitting by the water, and he'll run right by you, and there's the proof. And then I can die a happy man. I know he's real.
So in all seriousness, and actually it's not serious. We're joking, and I think that's one of the fun things about this topic is there's interesting information that we can talk about on Baja. I've interviewed some professionals, Jim McCoy, a helicopter pilot, fishermen. I've talked to a lot of people that are serious in what they do, and I don't mean to say that you're not serious in what you do down there, but you and I are fortunate enough to have spent quite a bit of time together here over the last couple of years. And the joy of being in Baja is real. And I guess really that's maybe ultimately what this conversation about is
yeah.
If it wasn't for that place, you and I wouldn't know each other. And I think it's interesting how a geographical location can become a part of who you are as an individual. And it's amazing how when it becomes a part of who you are and becomes a part of who I am, then we have this common link together. And there's been plenty of times together, you and I, Neil, and I don't mean to make this sound more romantic than it really is, but sometimes you don't even have to say or do anything. Just being there, watching a sunset, watching a sunrise, those are special moments that they don't necessarily happen in Southern California, and they do happen in Baja California.
Yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of great people down there, and I've been lucky enough to my wife loves going down to Cabo, so my wife and I get to enjoy that part of Baja, and I'd love to show her more of Baja. Like, I think she'd really like Loreto, and just being able to enjoy that with her and my family and all the friends I've met, like you guys. I mean, just a great place. And once you go there, you have that itch, it's got you, and you're gonna keep wanting to go back, and that's just Baja. Don't fight it. Just embrace
Don't
it.
fight it. I like this. So we ask all of our guests we've joked around. We've been kind of serious. We're back to the serious topic. This is very important. So I need you to put your thinking cap on and give me a straight answer. I hope you've got an answer for this.
Okay.
The best taco in Baja, where is it?
Oh, man, that is tough. Best taco. Honestly, I hate to shut everyone down in Baja, but A&B Off the Grid Catering has made some of the best tacos I've ever had down there.
Oh, coming out of left field. I like this. And shout out to Alec. I like this a lot.
I mean, those are some of the best, but local ones, man, it's so hard to even say. I couldn't even tell you what the name of it was. It's just like, wow, I had a great taco there, and then moving on to the next. So that's tough.
That is an interesting point to bring up. Is so often we go to places, locations, restaurants, taco stands, whatever, and the name ultimately doesn't really matter. It's the people, or for the taco standpoint, it's the taco, and you just remember where it was at, not necessarily what it was called. So I'll back you up on that. Do you have a favorite type? Carne asada versus fish versus shrimp versus what?
I like carne asada myself, but I'll eat fish tacos as well. Not the fried ones, but just grilled fish tacos are good. But
sure.
Carne asada is a nice safe one, easy on the stomach sometimes.
Yeah, right on. Well, listen, man. Do you have? We've talked about Baja quite a bit. Talked a little bit about your cinematography career. As a guy who has kind of cemented himself in the industry, if there are people that are listening that are interested in becoming a cinematographer, any pieces of advice, Baja or not, just what does it take, and any like I said, any pieces of advice for someone that's interested in choosing that career path?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just decided I was going to do it. The very first thing is passion. You have to be passionate about it. You have to be willing to just dedicate all your time to it, and just buy some equipment and start going. Don't try and know it all at once. Just see what everyone that you're looking up to is using, and get some equipment and start shooting and putting together your own personal projects, and the rest will follow. And I mean, I didn't go to film school, but if you can afford to and have that outlet, it doesn't hurt. You can learn a lot faster, where I might have learned the hard way.
So it's interesting. You bring up buying equipment, and that is actually an important part to this whole thing. The renting and or using your phone isn't something that's recommended.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the technology is progressing so fast. I mean, yeah, when I started, phones that shot video were not around. There was no iPhone. There was no GoPros. And I started shooting on 16 millimeter film when I really got serious about it, or there was mini DV, but now you can go buy a mirrorless camera or DSLR and you can shoot some pretty good looking stuff, and that they have image stabilizers now on them. So handheld isn't shaky cam anymore, where before I would say, hey, make sure you have a tripod, keep your image stable. I mean, now they have image stabilizing. It's almost getting easier to shoot, too easy where everyone's doing it. And it kind of is making it tough on the guys that have been around, but that's just the way it is. That's how the world goes. And you just got to try and adapt and evolve and stay ahead of the curve.
Well, I think that one of the things that I would add to this and watching and being a part of some of the stuff you've done, not being afraid to go to the difficult to reach places. And I've actually been to some of those difficult to reach places with you. And that's definitely something that will set a beginning cinematographer apart from others, is that if you have the equipment and the desire to then go find some of those out of the way difficult places, and there are plenty of those in Baja, you can come back with some pretty amazing imagery.
For sure. I mean, I've joked around with some friends and we call it adventure filmmaking. It's like, if you're not in it for the adventure, then you might as well just get involved in studio work and working on a show in a studio. But I enjoy being in the outdoors. I enjoy the challenges, and if you enjoy that, then you're going to have fun. And that's the most important thing. And you gotta be able to roll with the punches, because a lot of, stuff happens, broken gear, getting injured while you're filming and all that. And you just have to be in it. You have to want to live that life. It's not for everyone, but I enjoy it. And I'd much rather do that than be working on a studio shoot. I mean, we've worked on some stuff indoors. It's not as fun as being out there, is it?
Definitely not. Well, Neil, man, hey, I thank you for your time. We're coming up on that 30-minute mark, and we try to keep it to right around 30 minutes.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And it's always fun to kind of link the peninsula and weave a common thread through my life and the people that I know. And it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, and don't mean to make it sound like that's going to end, because I'm pretty sure we will be back in Baja sometime soon here. So thanks again for your time.
Yeah, we'll be hunting Chupacabra soon, brother.
Count on it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ryan.
You bet. We're signing off here at the Baja Sessions. Tune in next week, and we'll have another interesting person with interesting stories about our favorite place, the Baja Peninsula.